Good morning. It was about 12 years ago now. Marsha and I had an incredible opportunity for a wonderful adventure. We sailed on a 46-foot sailboat from Annapolis all the way to the island of Bermuda, about 675 miles straight out into the ocean. It was a pretty wild trip in the end, a lot more exciting than we had planned on or anticipated, but it was so beautiful when we got there. It was just Marsha and me and another man named David, a captain. Well, we got there and we had the boat and we tied it up, what's called stern to, at the dock there in Georgetown in Bermuda. Now, the dock was really a huge dock, concrete dock, and you stern to means you back the boat up. You drop the anchor off the front of the boat, the bow, you back it down, you get real close up to the dock, and you tighten everything up, and then you put two lines from the stern, the back of the boat, and tie it off, and it just kind of floats there. If this is the dock, it just kind of gets right up next to it. The issue is you got to get off the boat. And so usually you'll take a wooden plank and put it on the boat, and it runs to the dock. The problem with this one is that it was a really high, big concrete dock built kind of sloping. Part of it was used for actually cruise ships. But there's a 4-foot tide there in Bermuda every day. It goes up 4 and down 4. Up 4, down, twice a day. So you needed a big board. Now what they had at the dock was about a 15-foot board that you could put on the dock and then run it down to the boat. And so it's about a foot wide, and you could then walk along that board down to your boat. But boy, when the tide was out, it really was sloping, and you're kind of out away from the dock. We didn't feel comfortable with that at all. It looked pretty scary. And so I said, why don't we go practice? We got up onto the dock, and we had this board, and I put it down on the dock, and I said, let's just practice walking it. And so we'd walk on along, and walking a board that's a foot wide, 15 feet long, really isn't a big deal. We were able to walk it easily. And so after we had walked up and down this board a few times to see that it wasn't a problem, I got it and put it back down, got it on the back of the boat there and resting it on the dock. And I said, all right, dear, go ahead. She looked at me and she looked at that board. Now, if you're on that board and you started off and you fell, you're going to go down and hit this concrete dock 10, 15 feet down. If you're further down the board and you fall, you're going to hit the back of the boat. If you're lucky, you'd fall right between the two, and there's about 20 foot deep of water. She looked at me and she looked at that, and finally she said, I am now old enough and mature enough to make wise decisions. And so she sat down on the board and scooted along all the way down to get to the boat. She said, I don't care what people think. All the other people around us were in their 20s and 30s. They had their boards and they're just running up and down them. Well, I thought she had a pretty good idea, and so I kind of got down on my knees and I did the same thing going down to the boat. But then we got to the point that we'd kind of leave and would stand up a little bit the first part and then crawl the last. And then another day or two went by and we found ourselves going up and down and up and down, and it was not a problem at all. And I couldn't help but think, that really is what it is in life. How often you and I get ready to start off and we're looking and seeing all the bad things that can happen. We're looking down. How far down is it? How narrow is this? This might not be good at all. And yet the truth of the matter is, if you and I would trust in the gift of God's grace, if we would trust in God leading our lives, then we would discover we don't have to be afraid of all the things that might happen. No, you find the courage to get up and to walk, to follow Christ into the future. You don't have to be afraid because you are walking with Christ, and it really is going to be exciting, but it'll be okay. I hope you'll go out this weekend and make sure you choose to live. Have a great one.